Ryan Keith is up. Keith. File numbers 25T 645513 A, B, and C. Sir, your name? Mr. Graziani?
Judge, John Graziani, on behalf of Mr. Kia. We're just here for an arraignment. We're waiting the formal reading, standing because it appears that there was standing remarks for Mr. Zuck's failure.
Right there, ask where he's been.
Judge, in my brief discussions with Mr. Zuck, he appears to have severe anxiety disorder and a young child that was born around that time, or at least was very young, and he came overwhelmed with a challenge. His landlord isn't working right now, and
Who's the landlord?
can you identify yourself with your name?
Oh, I know Ms. Sineski. I was fortunate enough to go to high school with her. I think she's valedictorian.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, see you at the 50th.
Okay, all right.
Judge, we're
Sir. I'm not, this has nothing to do with what I'm doing here. The fact that I know her, when I hear what the lawyer just said, it kind of tugs at me. So I'm going to give you a personal bond and I'm going to let it go, but you got to show up in court. You got it?
Yes, sir.
All right, $1,000 personal bond. You cannot leave the state without the consent of the court or violate a law. Must appear in court as directed. Do you understand all that? Now, he does have, he saw another citation here that he's in default on. Oh, here it is. That's the C file. So he owes how much on that, Heather? Is it still 327?
Judge, I was on the phone with probation. I missed who we have up at the stand. I can look it up if I could get the last name, please.
About it. Can you pay this citation yet or not?
But not today, Judge.
Well, we'll just reschedule this for contempt, okay? We'll reschedule this for a contempt hearing. Tell your landlord, maybe she wasn't, but she could have been the valedictorian of the class. She would have applied herself, right, Ms. Sineski? I'm just messing with you. All right, you can go down the hall. We'll give them a new date right down.
Judge, thank you so much.
How's that? Thanks. I'm going on to another case. You can stand right there. People against Charles Holt, Charles Joseph Holt, 219F2317771A and B. Defendant failed to appear yet again. He was given a bond. On the misdemeanor, bench warrant issued bond to be forfeited. 500 wasn't enough to get him here. It would be now 10,000, 10%. And then on the other file, Heather, would you apply $257 to payment of fines and costs, like $257 to payment of fines costs. And is there a balance on top of that, Heather?
There would be, he had 302 was owed on that ticket.
So bench warrant to issue, bond will be $45 cash assured. So we're forfeiting the bond on the misdemeanor.
Well, that escalated quickly. The first bond was $500, and apparently that wasn't enough motivation to get Charles Holt back into court. Now the judge is forfeiting that bond and issuing a much larger warrant. And that's the courtroom message here. Missing court once may create a problem. Missing it again can turn that problem into a much more expensive one.
Issuing a warrant, 10,000, 10%, and then we're forfeiting the bond on the other case, well, applying the bond and setting a $4,500 cash assured bond. People against McLilly, this is Jordan Elizabeth McLilly, Wilson, 267-842-3808. Mr. Crawford, your name?
Ma'am, your
name? So what is she going to do on this?
Plead guilty to both with an explanation.
All right, Sharon Cohen, Madeline.
Now we switch from a defendant who keeps failing to appear to an 18-year-old facing probation violations. And here's where things get serious. Even though these are called technical violations, a guilty plea can still carry jail time. So before she says another word, the judge has to make sure she understands exactly what rights she's giving up and what could happen next.
Ms. McLily Wilson, if you plead guilty here, I want you to understand you have no prior technical violations. These are technically technical violations. And you could get 5 days for every violation. You could receive 10 days in jail if you plead to both of these. Do you understand that?
If I will, without, you said I will go to jail.
I said you can get 10 days if you plead guilty to this. Do you understand?
I understand.
And did you sign, read, and understand an advice of rights form here today? And if you plead guilty, you'll be giving up all those rights and there will not be a hearing or a trial. Do you understand that? To the charge, you failed to pay fines and costs as ordered. How do you plead?
Guilty.
You failed to pay your fines and costs as ordered.
Yes.
To the charge, you failed to submit to testing as ordered by on-site on July the 8th of 26. How do you plead?
Guilty.
You failed to submit to testing on that date.
Yes.
Anybody force you to plead guilty?
No.
Plead or accept. Your appearance.
Madeline Marcus, probation, Your Honor.
Good morning. Mr. Crawford, what would you like to say? I'm the sentencer.
You're my client, the young 8-year-old young lady who's, trying to find a way forward in life, Your Honor. And in both of these roles, simply because she had a really tough home life situation. She was living with her grandmother, and that relationship was really broken down prior to this incident and to this date. So what happened was the grandmother was threatening to put her out. So the little bit of money that she does earn, she prioritized trying to save that because she knew she was going to get kicked
Where
out.
does she work?
I work at Amazon, sir.
At where?
Amazon.
How much do you make there?
I make $21.
How many hours a week?
I'm part-time.
How many hours a week?
26, I think.
All right, so you're making 260 plus 26, 520, you're making about $546 a week, right? Some gross.
Yeah, probably gross. My checks are usually like $400.
You're what?
My checks are usually like
Yeah, after taxes, right? Welcome to this country. We get to pay taxes. Go ahead.
So the bottom line is she was told by her grandmother that, you're gonna have to get out of here soon. No uncertain terms.
And now the story behind the missed payments starts coming into focus. She's only 18, working part-time, facing the possibility of homelessness, and trying to stretch every dollar toward finding a place to live. But here's the difficult part. A tough explanation isn't always the same thing as a legal excuse. So what do you think? Should the judge focus on the violations themselves or the circumstances that caused them?
So she kind of prioritized her dollars in that way that she hoped to avoid being homeless. So she fell behind on the payment of it. That's the explanation there.
Why didn't she come and talk to me like I told her to?
Well, she actually did make that attempt. She attempted to come in and ask for another payment arrangement. And she informed the probation department that she needed to, and she was informed that you were out of town that week. So
What day was that?
I'm not exactly sure the day, but it was when we were out of town for.
I also gave her the Zoom information. I sent her the Zoom, the hours and days that you pulled over to work, and that she could come in person as well, but she unfortunately never did.
Why didn't she show up for testing?
Well, Your Honor, again, these things kind of blend forward. The issue is on 7/7, grandma blew up and suddenly put her out. She didn't have any place to stay. So she was in the middle of the chaos and she simply forgot to call that day. She didn't have any place to stay until the 9th. If you want her to drop right now, she dropped, she'd be clean. It was just.
What took her so long to come in here?
Took her so long to come in here, Your Honor?
Well, I know it was scheduled for today, but I don't understand why she didn't at least call again. I believe what she's telling.
But call to say what, Your Honor? I missed the court date? I mean, the meeting, she already knew.
No, I'm not at the meeting. She missed her time to pay.
Well, I
And
understand.
she missed the test. Why didn't she go test the next day?
Well, again, she still had no place to stay until the evening of the next day. She's only 18, Your Honor, so it was a bad way of handling it. But imagine an 18-year-old's life blowing up. She's looking for a person to stay.
Supposed to test on the 8th. I called again.
It wasn't.
I was unaware that I was supposed to test on the 8th. I called again on the 9th. I always call, and if they don't call my color, then I don't go. And I called the next day. They didn't call my color, so I just assumed my color had not been called.
And Your Honor, she didn't make any payments subsequent to that because she used all her money to get herself into the apartment that she's in now. So she's trying
So
to.
she's left, Graham.
Yeah, she actually, grandma wouldn't have it back. So fortunately, she did prepare. She's able to get an apartment, a new address
I
to
asked the
provide.
question, where are your parents at?
Where my parents,
Yeah,
my father is in rehab for drugs and alcohol, and my mother lives in Wayne, it's Wayne.
did you talk to them?
My parents,
Yeah.
do I talk to them? Yeah, I talk to them. I don't talk to my dad that much, I talk to my mom more.
She wouldn't take you in?
No, she only has a one-bedroom apartment, so.
So Your Honor, all things
Let me
considered,
stop you. When's DNA?
I'm sorry, the question.
When is DNA?
She tested on site actually.
You always test it on site? Is DNA?
Daily, from 7 to 10 a.m. and I believe 5 or 7.
No. I mean, is DNA open today? Do you know?
DNA? I have their calendar in my office, but I don't know.
This is the turning point. The judge has now heard about the broken family situation, the housing crisis, the mistest, and the financial struggles. But listen closely. He's about to draw a line between understanding someone's circumstances and allowing those circumstances to become a permanent excuse. And honestly, this next message is probably the biggest lesson of the entire hearing.
Listen. You gotta be more responsible.
Yes, sir, I understand.
I feel bad for you in a lot of ways, but you gotta be strong, you gotta adapt, you wanna break the cycle of alcohol and drugs, you're only 18 years old and you're in here fooling around with a drunk drive.
Yes, sir. I understand.
Serve 8 hours of community service. I'm gonna give you until August the 17th to do that. And I'm gonna let you set up a payment plan with her. I'm not gonna assess an additional cost. I'll be nice about it this time. You're a big girl. You were mature enough to go out and drink when you were supposed to, and get drunk when you weren't supposed to, and drive when you weren't supposed to. And I'm gonna expect you to show up and test when you're supposed to. And I'm gonna expect you to pay your fines when you're supposed to. You set up payment plan with her. We can reconfigure it. I don't want her not to be able to eat. Probation has set up terms of payment. You graduated, right?
Mhm.
Yes?
Yes, sir.
Why don't you get another job too? 26 hours a week. Mr. Crawford and I will be working 26 hours a week when we're retired.
Yeah, I'm trying. I have been submitting applications in Plymouth, to where I just moved here.
Okay. Well, I wish you well. Good luck.
thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Smothers. Joanne,